A lot of people own premium smartphones these days, but I see a lot of comments, people saying they would love to have the Galaxy S10 Plus, the 10s Max. Maybe they're receiving one for their birthday or maybe for a holiday. And while I say go for it, it is very fun to use a flagship phone. There are some downsides that come with them, and let's find out what they are in this video coming up. Let's go. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. The downsides of owning a flagship phone. Now, if you don't know what that means, it means the top of the line, the whole shebang, the best of the best, the premier, the premium, the luxury status, the best that the company really is putting out. For Samsung, the S10 Plus is right up there. The S10 5G is arguably a little bit better for some people. The iPhone XS Max is the best iPhone you can buy at Apple right now in terms of the giving you the most technology in the phone itself, the most premier technology. Now, this video is in no way trying to say don't make it a goal to purchase a premium phone or a flagship phone. I mean, I used to dream about owning these devices, and now I do have them, and I'm so grateful that you guys, continue watching and supporting the channel so we can continue helping you out with these devices, because it really is fun to do this. Now, let's begin with the first one, and that is fragile materials. Now, this didn't always used to be the case, but these days, one of the first downsides is when you buy a premium phone, you're getting glass material on the back. Now, the XS Max is pretty grippy on the sides, but the glass material on this phone, as well as the S10 Plus, requires a case pretty much all the time, and maybe even a screen protector or even a skin if you don't like cases, something to protect it, because the investment that you're putting into this is about $1,000, and you really want to crack the back glass on these devices. So that's my first downside of the flagship phones, is that you pay like $1,000 and you right away got to put some protection on it. Now, the next reason is depreciation just hurts on these phones. The Galaxy S10 Plus paid $1,000 for this baby. Man, is this thing dropping already. You can find this thing at much lower prices than when it first launched, and I wouldn't even be surprised if I'm able to even get half of what I paid for this when it does come out. Now, the iPhone, because of their brand reputation, typically can sell for more than the Samsung device, and they make less phones, so they just sell for more. Samsung's got a ton of phones, and they don't have that same brand value as Apple when it comes to people saying, oh, it's an Apple device, and then they're going to just pay more because it's an Apple device, even though they arguably are better phones on the Samsung side. But this one, huge depreciation. iPhones still do depreciate, though. I mean, don't think that you just get an iPhone and you don't get no depreciation. Phones in general typically depreciate faster than any other products pretty much out there. I mean, even more, I think, than cars, these depreciate these things. I mean, within a year or two, you basically have lost all your value that you basically paid. Now, the iPhone, like I say, can hold it a little bit better, but a $1,000 iPhone XS Max in 2 years, you're not going to get $1,000 for. You can probably get $700 for it, which is not too bad. But a Samsung S10, you're probably going to get about $400, maybe $350 for this after 2 full years being out, because of the rapid pace of advancement in this segment. So the next downside of buying one of these premier smartphones, flagship phones, is the repair cost. Now, Apple is notorious for having some of the highest repair costs in the industry on their phones. Now, you can see right here, if I drop this XS Max, which, by the way, I did not buy Apple Care for this thing, $599. That's almost half the price of the cost of this phone. This phone was $1,300. If you go with the 512 gig, it's over $1,500. In addition, if you have Apple Care, it's only $99 deductible. But I just paid $1,500, and I still got to pay a $99 deductible on top of 100, what is it, 150, 199 Apple Care price to get Apple Care for this phone. So the price of the phone plus insurance plus a deductible to fix this phone. Don't have it? Well, you're going to pay the price of an iPhone 8 basically to fix this XS Max. So outrageous repair costs. In addition to that, Apple makes it hard for a lot of third-party places to get their genuine parts. So if you want the best possible way to make your phone look like it just came out of the Apple store, you're going to have to do a little research to make sure you find a reputable third party, or else you're going to have to do it at Apple at those exorbitant costs. Now, the Galaxy series is a lot cheaper than Apple. Now, for the S10 Plus, if you crack the front screen, it's going to cost you $269. Now, if you crack the back panel, on the Galaxy S10, 99 bucks. So you can see a massive difference here, but still that's not really, low. I mean, on both of these, if you drop or break them, you have quite substantial repair cost on both of these, but heavily leaning towards a higher cost for the iPhone. The next downside of a flagship is if you want a compact smartphone. Now, don't come at me with the Galaxy S10e in the comments or the Pixel 3, for example, maybe the iPhone 10s, the smaller edition. Those are 5.5 to 5.8 inch displays. I'm talking iPhone SE. I'm talking Xperia XZ2 compact phones. Now, I did make a video where I was talking about the S10e is one of the best compact phones. It is a little compact flagship, but it's not super compact like the SE, the XZ2, and things like that. So I'm talking small phones. If you want one thumb hand phones, getting a flagship these days, it just is impossible. To get the best of the best, you got to deal with these large size phones on both manufacturers, as well as even the OnePlus 7 Pro, super big phone. The Pixel 3a it's a pretty decent size, but you go up to 3a XL, that gets pretty big. So most of the best phones that you can buy out there are usually even large, and even some of the mid-rangers, the best mid-rangers are typically pretty large as well. The next downside of owning one of these flagship phones is that the high standards people hold to these things. So for example, the cameras, one of the biggest things when you buy one of these phones is that most people are expecting the best camera experience they ever could imagine on their phone. And while they do offer some great experiences, phones still have phone sensors, so they don't always give you, maybe professional level results you might be expecting. These are not professional cameras. These are not DSLR cameras like this one right here, a Canon 80D. Do you see the size of this sensor? That sensor is massive compared to a smartphone sensor. Look how small those cameras are right there. So just the high standards you hold your flagship phone to can oftentimes leave you disappointed. If you were expecting a DSLR in your smartphone, stop expecting that. Next one is battery life, for example. Like if we go over here to the 10s Max, right? Battery life. This phone, not even as good as the 10R in battery life, but you would think at that price, I'm expecting the best battery life ever. I mean, I would like my phone to get 2 weeks of battery life, but you don't always get that. So make sure you do your research before you buy these phones and realize that just because you're paying $1,000 doesn't mean you're getting a DSLR camera on your phone. And it doesn't mean that you're getting, 2-week battery life on this phone. It's just not going to happen. What you really get is a premium feel. You get a better screen, a bigger screen, definitely better cameras, but better phone cameras. You get a good battery life, but not always the best out there. I mean, there's some mid-rangers that'll blow these away in the battery life. So you got to know what you're getting into. The next downside is your pride and joy isn't the best very long. So the S10 Plus is the best right now from Samsung. You got the S10 5G. Here comes August. Here comes Note 10 Pro. No longer the best. I mean, come on. It's just ridiculous. Every 6 months, Samsung has a different phone out. Every year, Apple has a different phone out. I just paid $1,300. This phone better be the best for a while. No, doesn't work like that. These companies still got to make profit. They still got to make new phones, and they still got to pay for marketing. They got to pay employees. So they got to keep making stuff, and you got to keep buying it. So, I mean, your phone's not, it's just a fact. It's not going to last forever. So if you buy these phones, know that the earlier you get them, the longer they'll be the best. And the later you get them, the less they'll be the best. So a lot of people just like to buy phones that are year-old flagships because they don't have to have that buyer's remorse, anything like that. And also you're getting a better value if you buy it a year old because you're no longer paying $1,000 price for it. Here's one that's really bummed me out over the usage of buying phones like this, for example. Ever since I had the iPhone XS Max, I've had a screen protector on it. Now, I made the mistake with the S10 Plus of taking off that included screen protector and using it without one. I did get a scratch, and eventually I had to install a ZAG screen protector on this right now. You can't see it because it's an invisible shield screen protector on this device. But even on flagship phones, they do scratch. And I guarantee you, if you rock these phones without a screen protector, you will have micro scratches at some point on these displays right here. So this is one thing on my wish list for smartphone manufacturers to improve. If they can get to a point where they make it much harder for these displays to get scratched. And, you know, with all the Gorilla Glass marketing, scratch resistant, blah, 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 these phones still scratch. I mean, just go take a look at Jerry Rig Everything's channel and you'll see what I'm talking about. These phones still scratch. The next drawback, and the final one I have for my experience with these, is that these phones are just more distracting. They occupy space in your mind more. Here's why. Let me do a car analogy for you here. So if you buy, you know, a Toyota Corolla or a Honda Civic, you're probably buying these cars, and I'm not talking about the sporty SI Civic. I'm talking about the regular basic Civic, basic Corolla. You're buying these cars to get from point A to point B. You buy a Lexus with the fully loaded tech package, a Mercedes with its tech package, or a Tesla loaded with the tech features. What do you think you're going to be doing? You're going to be in that car more just because you want to play with the features. You want to drive it more because you paid for it. Same thing with these phones. You feel like you want to get the most out of them because you paid so much for these devices. And for that reason, they become more distracting than like a cheap phone. I don't know how else to describe it. Like a little cheap iPhone SE used, or a cheap Moto G, whatever, you know, a cheaper device. You just kind of forget about that. I just feel like a device like that is going to be less distracting than this. And you kind of feel like you're trying to get your monies out of it. So you're going to try to use the camera more, use the screen more, maybe watch a movie on it more, you know, just do more stuff because you paid for it. So distracting. That's one of the downsides of these premier smartphones. So in conclusion, I'm not saying that I don't like flagship phones. I love them. These were just some of the downsides of owning one of them. And I think that, you know, you can see that just because they're marketed as the best thing ever, they do have their downsides as well, but they have many pros. If you guys want to see the pros, like the best things about flagship phone, let me know down below. And what are your thoughts on a premier smartphone besides the obvious, oh, I'm not going to buy that because, you know, that's price, I'm just not going to buy it. Like that, I see that comment like every day. Like, give me some reasons why you like a flagship or why you just don't really care for one in terms of like features and what it does for you in your life. Anyway, if you found this video helpful, entertaining, informing, click the like button for me. New here, consider subscribing for more. And Nick here helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well and peace.